when Jennette said she didn't want to act anymore?
Yeah, for sure, because we all called her separately and we really wanted her to be a part of it. But at the same time, I'm happy for her. Her life's taken her in a different direction and that she's really enjoying what she's doing right now.
She's Shady. Miranda Cosgrove breaks silence on Jennette McCurdy. IG Live. Miranda Cosgrove, who played Carly in the iconic teen show Icarly, has broken her silence against Jennette McCurdy, who played the role of Sam in Icarly. There have also been talks about a possible reboot of this show, and Miranda Cosgrove has gone above and beyond in sharing her thoughts regarding the matter. As you all know, the show was lately the target of controversy, as one of the producers of the show was arguably found to be a pervert. We have, as usual, all the latest developments right here for you, so let's get started right away. The show iCarly aired on Nickelodeon for the last time in November 2012. The last episode was titled I Goodbye, and since then, there has been no word about any revival of the show.
Oh, this isn't goodbye.
No, it's not. But iCarly is going to be taking a break.
Carly's going to Italy to live with her dad for a while.
However, in 2021, a reboot series of the show iCarly has been released, and this time, the rights have been bought by Paramount+. But the reaction of Jennette McCurdy, or Sam, was not too positive. In fact, Jennette McCurdy had something to say about the reboot of the show that started in June 2021.
It's the thing that I feel the most shame of in my entire life. I do not like any of the acting work that I have ever, like any of the projects that I've been a part of as an actor, and even talk.
As you heard from Jennette McCurdy herself, she not only dislikes her role in that project, but Carly was something she associates most shame with, in her own words. It's interesting to note, however, that Miranda Cosgrove, as well as Nathan Kress and Jerry Trainer, have made their way back into the reboot of iCarly by Paramount+. So why did Jennette decide against joining the reboot of iCarly? While speaking on a recent episode of her podcast called Empty Inside, Jennette McCurdy said that she made the decision to leave the entertainment industry several years ago. Here's what she said. I quit a few years ago because I initially didn't want to do it. My mom put me in it when I was 6, and by sort of age, I guess 10 or 11, I was the main financial support for my family. My family didn't have a lot of money, and this was the way out, which I actually think was helpful in driving me to some degree of success. Of course, these statements led people to believe that Jennette's mom played a negative role in her life. The news outlet reported and quoted Perez Hilton. iCarly alum Jennette McCurdy says her stage mom purposefully made her anorexic. What took everyone by surprise was when Jennette went on to discuss her feelings around iCarly. Considering she was one of the most important casts in the show, her statement came as a surprise of embarrassment regarding much of her Nickelodeon past. She starred on iCarly from 2012 to 2017, and her character also received a spin-off series, Sam and Cat, co-starring Ariana Grande. I'm so ashamed of the parts I've done in the past. I resent my career in a lot of ways, she said. I feel so unfulfilled by the roles that I played, and felt like it was the most cheesy, embarrassing. I did the shows that I was on from like 13 to 21, and by 15 I was already embarrassed. It was also during the podcast that Jennette confessed that acting was often difficult for her, and she found herself even struggling during audition process. She said that she would often feel nervous, and although she was able to overcome that, the passing of her mom later changed her goals. With her death kind of died a lot of her ideas for my life, and that was its own journey, and a difficult one for sure, she revealed. But what was it that made Jennette look back at iCarly in such a negative way? The answer really lies in what type of show it was and how many of the lines in the show actually had more than one meaning. The cast at the time were barely teenagers, as Jennette was 15 years old and amongst the eldest in the cast as well. Let's have a look at some of the awkward and disturbing moments from the original show that has made these actors look past in shame. Here you go.
Sometimes I wonder if you can get juice from a potato. I'm thirsty!
The actress in this clip was probably not even being paid enough to get exposed to such a mentality at her young age. The incoming clips that you see will also help you understand how iCarly was filled with cringe-worthy moments. It wasn't just Jennette McCurdy being part of a show that had some questionable moments. Her co-stars, like Miranda Cosgrove, also had to face some disturbing moments in the show. Before we go ahead, do keep in mind that Miranda was only a young teen at this time. There you go. You see Miranda Cosgrove sitting on her knees close to a wash basin, and the water seems to be trickling down her mouth. It may be in part due to moments like these that the fans have continued to share how uncomfortable some of the scenes in the show were. Here's what one fan had to say about it. I never realized how cringe iCarly was until I started watching it as an adult. Another user had more of a reaction when they ended up seeing the show for the first time. I watched the iCarly show and wow, I'm cringing so hard right now. You guys, these girls are so cringe. Oh my god, did I mention how they're so cringe? Insert ableist comment here. It may have been due to public comments like these that made Jennette and other stars feel uncomfortable about their past. Jennette further went on to talk about the creepy moments she was sort of forced into in the teen TV shows. She said that not only did she resent her acting career in countless ways, but she's also terribly ashamed of the parts she played. This was another comment directed at Dan Schneider and how he exploited underage girls. However, we'll get to that later. Jennette revealed that she played roles from the age of 13 to 21, but by the time she was 15, she was already embarrassed. The fact that she continued to work despite feeling uneasy shouts all affected her very negatively. This is what she had to say. I feel so unfulfilled by the roles that I played, and I feel like it was the most cheesy, embarrassing. The 29-year-old star also talked about the feeling of being recognized for her roles by saying, "My friends at 15, they're not like, oh, cool, you're on this Nickelodeon show." It was embarrassing. And I imagine there's a very different experience to be had with acting if you're proud of your roles and if you feel fulfilled by them. Meanwhile, the news of Jennette's decision to take a break from acting also comes at a time when iCarly prepares for its return. The series has already featured members of the original cast, including Miranda Cosgrove, Carly, Nathan Kress, Freddie, and Jerry Trainer, Spencer. The first episode was released in June 2021. It was also during a recent episode of Nathan Kress's podcast, Radioactive Dads, that he also addressed Jennette's decision not to take part in the reboot for now. I think it's just a personal decision, and we'll see where she's at and what she wants to do, he said. I think her focus has generally been on content creation, doing like her podcast that's doing really well and writing, directing, producing. It seems like that's where her focus is, and I think this is speculating too. But because she already did a spin-off series doing Sam and Cat, she might feel like she got 60, 70 more episodes than we did as our characters. And maybe she just feels like her character is complete. Some users have already given their feedback upon watching the new reboot of the TV show, iCarly. Didn't even like the first episode, Nickelodeon. You know better than this. What happened to you? You used to be fun with iCarly, Victorious, Drake and Josh. And my fave, Big Time Rush. Last show I enjoyed was Henry Danger. Danger Force is a cringe fest. Despite Jennette's unwillingness to join the cast in the show's reboot, it has already premiered and is not attracting very desirable ratings on the internet. That will be all for this one, folks. Thanks for watching and have a good one.